Hi guys, Alice Taylor down at Lytham Golf Academy, and today we're going to be reviewing the new Mizuno Jpx 919 range of irons. So we've got three different irons in the 919 range. We've got the Tour, we've got the Forged, and we've got the hot metal. So I'm going to hit 10 shots with each, but after each iron we're going to have a look at some numbers, see how each iron performs. At the end we're going to talk about kind of the averages and see what the difference is with the setup of the head, which type of player it's going to mainly aim at, and if you're in the market for new irons, possibly which of those three models you're going to be getting fitted for. Okay, so we've got Jpx 919 hot metal. So it's 7 iron now. In the past, Mizuno have been 6 iron for testing, but the fitting models, which I'm using, are 7 irons. The 7 iron in hot metal, 30 degree, so on that stronger side of the loft, but lots of weight low down, low CG. This should launch the ball in the air, and this should smash it. So we're going to hit 5 real balls, Titleist Pro V1 X. Then we're going to look at the performance, and we're going to run through the different models with Forged next, and the Tour finally. Right then guys, so we can see the 10 shots with the hot metal. Some really good ball speed at 120 mile an hour, just under 20 degrees launch, so still getting the ball up in the air for a 7 iron that's got 30 degrees of loft. Backspin of 4,900, so kind of as you're expecting, pretty low spin, but with a 7 iron with 30 degrees loft, we'd expect that. But a peak height of 35 yards with an average carry of 173. So some really good numbers from a club, really aimed at maybe launching the ball in the air a little bit more and getting a little bit more speed, therefore a bit more distance for that type of golfer. Okay then, so some really impressive numbers from hot metal. So that moves us nicely onto the Jpx 919 Forged. So certainly more compact, slightly thinner top line, visually for me a nicer looking golf club. Didn't dislike hot metal, but I prefer the look of this one. 32 degrees loft, so a couple of degrees weaker on the loft, getting a bit more traditional with that loft. This probably for that guy who already gets the ball up in the air a little bit more and isn't as bothered about out and out distance. But again, 10 shots, then we'll look at some numbers. Right, so now we see the 919 Forged. So ball speed still at 119 mile an hour. The launch angle now just over 20 degrees. We're seeing more backspin than we saw with the hot metal at 5,500. Still a peak height of 36 yards and a carry distance of 168. But again, we look at the spread from kind of shortest at 165 to longest at 170. Even though I'm not hitting those right out the middle of the club, we're seeing a nice forgiving iron. Right, so first 2 irons, we're seeing some really good numbers, and for me some really good forgiveness. You know, I'm not hitting everything flush out the middle, surprise, surprise, but hot metal ultra forgiving, Forged was very forgiving. Now we move on to the Tour. Now, really like the look of the Tour for me. Be interested to see, even though this is 7 iron, how forgiving it is. So 34 degrees, and when you do put it down behind the ball, it looks like a lot of loft compared to a lot of the stuff that I'm testing. But again, 10 shots, then we'll look at some performance. So the 919 Tour, so possibly the nicest looking of the irons, but we see a ball speed of 116. But on the good strikes, we still saw that ball speed up at 120. We saw one really drop off down to 110. Now, we see the Loft launch angle at 21.2, 34 degrees Loft though. So we're 30 degree hot metal, 32 forged, 34 Tor. We're seeing 5,200 spin. So for me, the spin was a bit low, but I would put that down to my miss hits there where the ball speeds dropped off, being slight toe strikes. And with that toe strike, we're seeing less performance from the ball. But we're seeing an average carry of 164, which is very healthy with that Loft 7-iron. But again, we're looking at that drop off. You know, best one at 168, 158 the shortest. Clearly the least forgiving of the 3 irons. Right guys, so my impressions then of the JPX 919 irons. I think if you listen to Mizuno, they're talking about hot metal being launching the ball in the air, good distance, ultra forgiving. I think you see that with the performance numbers. Forged, you're looking for something then a little less offset, a little bit nicer to look at, not quite as compact as the Tor, but kind of a midway club, you know, for that better player that's still offering that little bit more forgiveness. And I think again we saw that with the numbers, some really good performance. You know, the Tor one then for me is really aimed at that better player, the good ball striker who doesn't struggle getting the ball in the air and isn't necessarily too bothered about distance. And I think all 3 irons perform for the type of player they're aimed at. So really good clubs. As ever though, you need to get them set up properly for you to make sure you see that maximum performance and that ultimate kind of forgiveness for what you're looking for as a player. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. As ever, really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. Subscribe to my channel if you don't already. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here in the future. Stay in contact.